Hey you guys, I am getting ready for my North Carolina Natural Hair Care State Board test. The written and the theory. The theory I have coming up actually this week. I'm nervous about it, but I've made A's on my tests in school, so I should be good. Practical, I am up packing my bags now. I've packed it, I just want to go through each one because I've seen videos with some of it but not all of it, so we're gonna go through them. Even though it's 12:25 in the morning, I can't sleep because I'm pregnant. She's doing 7 weeks, but I am determined to finish this before she comes out. So my first bag is my universal bag. I got this bag from Dollar Tree. It's my friend. In this bag, I have this mat to put my supplies on. I have my extra disposable towels. I have napkins. I have my first aid kit for the blood exposure part. Everything is in this little thing, believe me. Let's see. So the Neosporin, the gloves, and I have little finger guards and my band-aids. So we're gonna close that back up. I have my hand sanitizer and my wipes. So, and that is universal. So these supplies stay on the table all throughout the exam. I wipe around them at every time we change and everything. So that's my universal bag. Bag 1, which is for the first client, which is the, let's see, it's the visible cornrow braid supplies, the invisible cornrow braid supplies, and the extension to invisible braid supplies. Bag 1. So we have, gotta unzip it, the brush. The reason I have the brush is because at the end, after you finish all 3 of those from bag 1, it's going to ask you to brush it back. So that's why I have a brush. I have my rubber bands, which I have big rubber bands and small rubber bands. It is labeled. Oh, and these bags are labeled too with everything on them. I'm a little obsessive, so everything is labeled inside the labels. So my rubber bands, I have my artificial hair. I have 2 of them. I chose to use color hair because I want them to be able to see it, that I started for hair, just to make sure they're like, oh no you didn't. I did. I have color for hair to show you. So that's for the plait and the regular cornrow. I have my shears, because once you plait it down with the artificial hair, it can't be more than 6 inches. So what I do is measure it to make sure it's not more than 6 inches, cut it, and put a rubber band in the end for it won't unravel. I have, it's labeled, you just can't see it because I didn't feel like putting a label on it. I just wrote it. I have combs and clips. I have 4 combs and several clips, just in case one drops, and plus I plan on switching it out for every braid and putting it in the right baggie. And I have a cape and towel. I have the measuring tape, like I said, not more than 6 inches. And bobby pins. I'm not sure why they want bobby pins. Stuck them in there anyway. So that's bag 1. Oh, and I do have my 3 bags you're supposed to have. My trash, my to be disinfected, and soiled linens. So I'm not placing trash bags in mine. I just don't want to. It's a struggle. I just want to get this over with. And each side is is labeled. I did that because the area is taped off. I think it's 30 inches if I'm not mistaken that I read. So I can place them sideways and that way they'll see them as well. So I do have those 3 bags. And no, I'm not gonna put it in a Ziploc bag. I'm thinking smarter, not harder, and making myself work. So we're gonna put everything back in bag 1. I will re-zip it later. Okay. Then we have bag 2. It's labeled. Everything is on here, of course. Bag 2 is for the weft sewing. And again, I have a cape and the neck towel. Yes, each of mine. Every time I change a bag, I'm changing this out because I'd rather be safe than sorry and it won't hurt me. I have my needle and thread. I have a brush again. I have my oil and Q-tips because you're not supposed to touch like this little piece that's in here. You can't really see it. It's not supposed to touch your hair. So I got Q-tips because once I stick it in there, I rub it across, then I flip it around, stick it in there to get the whole thing on the scalp, not the hair. I have my weft, which is labeled. I have clips and rubber bands, of course. And I have plenty of combs. I'm that person that drops everything. I have my measuring tape. I have a measuring tape because the way I was taught, once I sew in the weft between the nape and the obstacle, so from ear to ear, and I braid it, sew it, I measure it to see how long it is, and then I measure the weft and cut it and just sew it. And I find that that's easy to do. Then I won't have to cut it while it's on the head. So yeah, have my shears because after you finish sewing in the weft, you're supposed to clip the ends to clean it up. So that's bag 2. Stuffing all that back in there. And then and in between that is the blood exposure. So from what I've read off the papers that I printed, and it's been revised in 2021, so you're supposed to, the blood exposure is going to act like you got cut on your index finger. It says index finger, and then none of your supplies got messed up or the thing. So the only thing you have to do is basically go through the blood exposure on your finger. And all of that is in my universal bag. That's why I have so much little stuff in there, because I want to make sure it's right. And after that, after you do the blood exposure, you're supposed to clean everything off. But they're going to read it to you. You're going to clean everything off. You're going to keep that finger guard on throughout the whole thing. Do not take it off. You will get points deducted. Last bag, bag 3, flat ironing. I have my flat iron, of course, wrapped neatly. I have my white towel. You're supposed to test it before you flat iron your mannequin's hair. Test it. Of course, I have my cape and towel, clips and rubber bands, and my combs. All of these combs are heat resistant. I'm not sure if they count on for that, but like I said, I want to make sure. This is the main comb I'm going to use. I know this is heat resistant. The rest I got off Amazon in a pack. It says it's heat resistant, but I'm going to mainly use the pink one. Yep, and then that's all the bags. And I take my practical exam on the 7th of February. So, and I will record another video after that to let you know how I did. Nervous but ready to get this over with. Thank you.